Good morning. I got to straight with you. When I watch those intros now, all I think about is child endangerment. How are we going to make sure that there's no child endangerment in my intro videos? If you don't know, that's why we got canned again, the fifth strike. And it's not gonna lie, it's made me rethink the entire position. Some of you already heard this before, but I didn't want my Rockfin folks to maybe who missed that because I've been talking a lot about this on the radio. This show is to briefly explain that. So if you've heard this before, sorry. At the same time, it is interesting how whenever someone is censored, unless it's Joe Rogan, most people just find it annoying to have to listen to them say I've been censored. It that is part of the flavor, which opens up your peepers a lot about really where people where a humanity's threshold is. I think that this actually brings you closer humanity because your compassion learns to understand that that people have boundaries about what they want to spend their time listening to. There's a flavor of that, so to speak, that bitterness is not something people want to hear a show about, and it's hard to be censored and not be bitter at the same time. I know because I've been trying it for 5 times now. This is my 5th try, and let me know how I'm doing. Let me know how bitter I am about it, or how right. I think that ultimately, though, just the fact that I'm talking about it is only mostly expensive for me. And I think that that's how it works across the board, by the way. And I think I probably have one of the more compassionate, kinder audiences that allows me more slack in that department, I think, than others do. It's part of why watching the whole Joe Rogan thing unfurl is personally making me stainless. It's making me stainless. Anyone in a scapegoatish role, and I'm not saying that that's better than the golden child, but anyone in a scapegoatish role is really being refined in injustice. That is the heart and soul of the scapegoat role, is injustice. And the heart and soul of the golden child would be what's the lack of well, perfection. That's probably the best word I can come up with right now, is perfection. You are the same process. You were dipped and amalgamated in the boiling perfection of golden child, and you come out of that feeling kind of like, holy fuck, that was not fun at all. But also, there's something that has occurred from that. So both, right, both sides of the process are going to be helpful in different ways, for sure. But as a artist, as just a videographer, as someone who just edits video together, here I go. I'm talking about it. But seriously, the amount of hours I put into those intros is astounding to me, because of like, wow, James, you are really putting a lot of time into these intros. And this happening to those intros is just it's precisely the blow that someone in the Coliseum would want to administer to someone like me, to put me on my knees, to be like, fuck, again. And when it happens once, you're just like, I can take it. It happens twice, you're just like, I can take it. It happens 3 times, you're just like, man, this is really getting old. And 4th, and then 5, the brutalness of it is that there's never a human doing this to me. So I gain no prana from the witness of someone else who's clicking the button to say, this is it. The video on Monday was booted for child endangerment. And I only am guessing that out of the entire video, there's in the intro is two children fighting on the street. That's my guess. There's not a timestamp. There's not a human or a timestamp indicating that. And if there was, there would be no censorship. Do you realize that without the AI, the censorship would not work? Here's how. Gwenda McManaman-Stein, whose pronouns we did not have chance to ask, really sorry, but we know that on her profile she goes by she, formerly an employee at Google, left and reported how the censorship is so unfair. And she documented how videos that have certain frames in them that have this, although might be from a world published stock agency, the most popular stock agency you can find on Google, is the one I use. And I'm using their art that they're providing me so that I can play with the copyright laws and be legit. And that she would report how unfair the censorship is. That as a human, she would expose them. But that never happens because it's an AI. It's an algorithm. It is a cold, hard algorithm. This is the meaning of blockchain. This is the meaning of smart city. And if you have created a church of prejudicial fetish, where you fetishize how racist everyone is, or how mean everyone is, or how evil everyone is, or how no one ever can be trusted, you will worship an algorithm because you feel confident that it will punish everyone equally poorly, right? Like across the board. And that we will bond, that you and I will bond because we are being inflicted in pain, and we get to live our victim lifestyle in peace and freedom. And this is the true state of the atheist. The true state of the atheist. The political organization that's really just another cult. And I don't mean cult even in a bad way. Because cult is a collection of people. And we collect for all kinds of different reasons, don't we? All kinds. I have strongly considering changing my format from video to audio. I would have done that today, but Rockfin means so much to me, I didn't want you to just suddenly not see video anymore and wonder why. And I don't even know if this is the right decision. I really don't know. I just want to act as healthily as I can. And I can tell you that waiting another 2 weeks for YouTube to take off that, to allow me to then stream again, and I already now have two again, is not comfortable for me. It just doesn't feel like a healthy relationship. If I was to switch to audio, if I was to switch to a radio type format, the main reason why I'd be doing that is so I would not be trapped in a hole. I would be able to possibly convert that into some sort of MP3, like a podcast format, or maybe even just stream it directly from my site since it's audio only. I can stream video from my website, and as soon as I do that, it's not too expensive, and we have the patrons to do that, but as soon as I start streaming video from my website, my life turns into a video streaming debugger person because of the technicalities of streaming itself, and that the third-party platform that I would use to do that is just, it's a rudimentary science. There's actually not even a way to track easily how many people are even watching. The RTMP technology is fantastic, and it could be ported into a video game, and I could develop that video game platform, and it would be fun, but I would then not be doing a show. I would be supporting and running an RTMP platform like Rockfin. And if I was good, and if I was really good at what I was doing, I would hopefully in 5 years be able to catch up to where Rockfin is now. And Rockfin still has a long way to go. I think they've done better than anyone else I've seen by far. I feel safer than anywhere else here. But Rockfin is a closed loop. I do not have people say, I found you on Rockfin. That does not happen. People collect on Rockfin. We collect here. But there's no growth. Not yet. Rockfin could create that growth. It could happen. It could happen. I don't know what to do yet, except for not give up, which is why I'm streaming today. And more importantly, I'm doing this visual stream, which I hope is entertaining. I have no idea. Sorry if it isn't. But this visual stream is actually to invite you to the full moon radio broadcast that I'm going to be doing later today. this evening, today. I don't know which. I'm still learning this, so I'm kind of just turning it on and just throwing some records and saying weird stuff. And that is just evolving. I don't know where it's going. I don't even know if it's a good idea. It could be that this just isn't really something that I'm supposed to be doing, you know? I mean, I freaking love doing this. But what I love doing is not necessarily the same of what I should be doing. So I just hope you see that I'm burning calories. The day that it was dropped on Monday, I turned on the radio and streamed right then. Because I knew the best way that I could survive this kind of crap is just to keep going, man. And that's what's happening in Ottawa right now. Like right now, it's the same kind of thing. And they're freezing bank accounts. Dudes are walking around the street, right, handing out like $1,200 to truckers because they know that the GoFundMe doesn't work. And those dudes, their bank accounts are being frozen. And the squeeze is on, which is beautiful, because it's the only way to make it secrete. It's the only way. It's the only way to get it to secrete. Yeah, and quick note, this is going to sound rude, but let's not give me super easy, simple solutions that are not solutions, okay? I know that your human spirit just wants to feel like you're helping, but telling me, hey, James, you should go on to BitChute or Odyssey. Dude, I've been on BitChute and Odyssey for 3 years. Do you know how hard it is to push this flavor of information, of vibe that we're talking about? If it's not a bunch of people freaking out because, oh my God, you're quoting the Bible, to a bunch of people freaking out because I'm not licking the butthole of Mandela effect or whatever the shit's going on. This is a very, very fine, focused thing here. And before you ask if I'm on there, please go look. And look and see that the Monday video has 3 views on it. And I know if I was to move over to Odyssey and constantly be engaging in other videos, that if I was watching other videos and liking other people's videos, that then people would then sort of start liking my videos. That's how it organically grows. But here's the thing. I am not someone who's appeased by watching hours and hours of videos. I'm reading shit, I'm trying shit, I'm researching stuff, I'm talking to people, I'm running dojos, I'm doing all the other things. And the show is the vital part of that because it brings in people that have never seen me before. And that is what is under siege right now. And that siege is happening from an algorithm. An algorithm. Man, bear, pig. Algorithm. Man, bear, pig. And that, I know, sounds like I'm whining. And I am. Boo-hoo. I am sad about that. But this is the landscape and the texture. And like we do in Dojo, I need to put my authentic self before your witness because it will make me stainless. All right, if I don't know who even typed what I said, and I'm sorry if I just snapped at you. If that was the person that just said, well, sorry, I'm sorry too. But man, I try those things, and I know how easy it is to just want to help and be like, hey, you should start a new channel, and it's like, I did start a new channel. It's called James True Live. It's on YouTube. I did start a new channel. And then I started Dojo Earth, which is, if you're on YouTube, you're only watching me because you're on Dojo Earth right now. And I can't play my intros on here. I think I got by with the one I played today, but I can't play my Monday intro. And not only that, we already know there's certain things I can't talk about. And I already don't talk about them. I've already been conforming to this. My second or third star, I was like, you know, I deserve that one. I was like, I deserve that one. Star, I'm calling it a star. But the third strike, I was like, you know, I deserve that one. You know why? Because I said this, and about this. And I even did a stream on that. But this is why the algorithm is such a good predator. Because there's no human witness to expose that there is no lesson here for me. YouTube's not sending me a timestamp or an algorithmic chart that shows here's 17 flags through the video that our AI picked up on, but we are not allowed, because it's our proprietary information, we are not allowed to give you these 17 flag timestamps, the reasons why. So we'll show you the timestamps so you know to look at your video, right, at these 17 different points, or 36 points even. And to make me guess which ones are child endangerment, that is an exercise I can do. That's an exercise that is constructive, that we can make work, that we can grow. But if you were to do that, a human is now involved and they're witnessing what's going on. They're seeing that. And you can't have that, because that would not be sustainable, because a human consciousness would not be able to do that for too long. Eventually they would crack and be like, this job sucks. I hate this. So this is a very, very precise way of dealing with it. And it's the same thing that Zionists do now, that we label and call someone the demon, and that turns our algorithm on, and now we are allowed to treat them the same way, because none of us are actually witnessing the way we're doing it. It's the exact same formula of the scapegoat. It's running all around us. A Zuki dog stand sounds like a great idea, Keith. Let's get started. Let's go to Belize. And when we get there, we'll start the Zuki dog stand. And the locals, we're not going to be able to have that stand on the road. Most of the time, traffic's fine. But the locals that drive on that road, some of them are like massive alcoholics. And in the middle of the day, those fuckers are going like 40 miles an hour on a 12-mile-an-hour road. I'm not saying we're not going. I'm telling you that when we go, we are going to feel alive, because we're running a Zuki dog stand there. Additionally, we're going to have to drag that Zuki dog stand up the stairs and hang it out over the banner and tie that Zuki dog stand to a palm tree and chain it there. Chain it above ground to the palm tree. Because the only kind of security in Belize is going to be calories. You have to make something calorically difficult to take. I'm still in. I'm still going. But let's say we want to do a live stream. That's going to be a problem, because there are guerrilla fighters claiming to be the government between us. We're at the tip of Placencia. And there are guerrilla fighters between us and the Central Telephone Company, or Telecom Company. And that telecom company is actually owned by another cartel that's not even here. Now, those cartels are fighting all the time right now. And in order to fight, they send employees out to cut the lines. And they wait to cut the lines during really, really peak times, because it makes everyone really angry. And then those people think that the telecom company is a piece of shit. And then those people vote to make more government punish the telecom company. And then they hire more cops locally, and those cops, they're the alcoholics. And now they're cruising through the street, and what they're doing is they are trying not to be killed by the dudes that climb the tower to cut the line. We still have our Zuki dog stand, though. And it is fucking thriving. It is. We are doing well. But we are not connected to the world. We are inside that facade that we think is connected to the world, but is not. If you and I had a catamaran and we were cruising up and down the coast, we would feel free. We would feel like pirates. We could be selling Zuki dogs from the catamaran and shoot them through some kind of Zuki dog bazooka to the shore, that we would still have issues getting paid because of this internet thing, because of the internet war. Additionally, anytime we landed on a dock because of COVID, anytime we landed on the dock, one of those alcoholics would be there to test us and to administer the vaccine. And that facade that's running that has nothing at all to do with the health department. None. It's purely simply how nature runs its world. It's no different than when you come to a bird feeder and you know there are 3 blue jays there and they are just running the show. That is the true raw nature of what we are. That's anarchy. And believe it or not, we live in anarchy now. We have it. America is anarchy because it's run by people that want to have freedom, that want to have this larger illusion of freedom. And you're looking at what it takes to actually run a government that stops people from climbing the tower and cutting progress. That is actually progress too. That the corruption has to become stainless. That's what's so weird. Is government is simply corruption that's become stainless at being corrupt. And anyone corrupt enough is going to hold enough power to know certain things are going to be expensive to take away from people and certain things are not. It's not expensive to take me away from people. And it's not because I'm not great, because I'm fucking great. But it's because the only thing that would be expensive would be someone who has the tomato stakes in place that can grow that tall. This is why we have archetypes. This is why the world has archetypes. That the way to clear the bird sanctuary of blue jays, if that was ever a thing that you thought was even a good idea, would be to find the lead blue jay and remove that. That it creates this trickle-down effect. Or, even better, to add something above the blue jay. And now you're looking at what government is. Government is the management of predation. That's what government is. And the only way government could predate effectively is by managing the 45% of your life force that's taken from you every day. That's how they get to feel and show and demonstrate that they are in charge. It requires every other criminal organization to have to go through the central bank of punishment in order to be legitimized. So all of government is criminal by design. It's not by corruption, it's by design. It would be required to work. There's no other way it would function. You know why? Because people would be sitting there waiting for an organic movement that had no corruption at all. And what would that be? That would be a Jesus. You'd be waiting for a completely uncorrupt person to come and obliterate it all and fix it all. And turn over the tables, the money changers, and kick the priests in the ass. And then even if he gets hanged, the whole time while he's up there dying, he's looking at us going, I did it for you, man. I did it for you. It's all good. I got this. I got this, man. And that's why government can never be good. It can never be what we're calling good. This is a good government. That's it. This is a good government. Remember, good used to be one who took. One who takes. And he takes peacefully. Why? Because of how good he is. What makes it peaceful, James? The sheer power and might. The righteousness of that makes it a clean take. This is a clean kill in hunting. Right? An evil kill would be to miss. And to have that be a 3-4 hour ordeal of dying. That's an evil kill. So government is good. It's so good that it's got 45% of a lot of people's life force. And it's still taking more. It's still taking more. I think the reason why government had to move into social media is because the life force tax was just running its course. That the truth of the matter is, in order to enforce the taxation, would require a human witness that would have to come to someone's house and say, "I need to take you to jail," and that would have to happen all around, all across the board. And there's just simply not enough witness to corrupt that. You see, you would have to lose one of your dutiful proceduralists because they would go in and witness what is actually happening, and that would cause too much of a loss. So the new IRS is going to be an AI IRS, just like YouTube. The whole thing will be cleaner once the machine is in charge, because this is run by this progressive victim. The progress is in victimhood, isn't it? The equality flag is a progress flag of victimhood. So it's outlining the path that we are building our government on victimhood, because that's the government that runs best. Belize is amazing. And as you're walking around the street, you feel alive. And tourists don't come there. They don't want to come there. And you know what the town does at night? You know what the government is at night in Belize? It's a soccer game. It's a soccer game. The entire town converges around a soccer game, and all the laws are laid out on the field. It's a powwow with a soccer ball. Yes, it was the full moon here in 4 minutes. 4 minutes until the full moon arises over Katua. So, that's where we're at. And I'm happy to be here. I'm glad you guys are here. 31 of you on Rockfin. That is awesome. That's a lot for me in Rockfin. That's great. Thank you for being there. Thank you, Fuma. Good to see you. And we will be doing that full snow moon show later today too. So I don't know if Rockfin. I've never actually asked if Rockfin has an issue with like streaming longer than a certain amount of time. So we'll have to play that by ear. But I want you to know that I really like the show that we do, and I think that I think I might try to just switch it to radio though for 2 weeks. I actually have a deep kind of like love of radio too. It doesn't mean that I should be doing it, but I just want you to know that radio is a different connection, and when you were listening to me versus watching me, you still have more autonomy. There's a lot more you can do in that way. Plus, I think I'd always be talking right in the mic because I don't have to worry about what I look like or what the camera's showing. I definitely miss, though, the eye candy and the slides and things like that. So, oh, great. Thanks, Wild Weasel. No, it does not. I watch long format 6 hours. All right, great. That's good to know. So, now, as you guys are typing, hey, I love the radio show, and I was going to make a joke about not being seen, but I actually think that I actually have longer. I can go longer. Not that you guys want me to go longer, but I know that sometimes I miss you guys on either side, right? And I can inject music, which is not really something that I would have done on the live stream. I mean, I do at the beginning, in the end, but that's not something I would have felt, like would be okay during the show. So I think you'll probably see me do both, right? A little bit of both here and there. But man, this is great. I appreciate it. Everyone seems to be into the radio show. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nate can work and listen at the same time, and I can too. Actually, as I'm talking to you on the radio, I can be setting up other stuff. So Funny comments over smooth jazz is highly enjoyable. Well, thank you, Jazz. I appreciate that. And yeah, DJ Prometheus. If you guys don't know, we should probably put the link here. There's the link to the other channel if you wanted to. Oh, we got a question here. By the way, this is Ask Me Anything Wednesday. If anyone has any questions or things they want me to talk about, put them in the chat. How would you advise us after you let out and alchemize all this frustration? There's an answer on its way. Let it come to you. Fuck their censorship. I like your face, but radio is cool too. Thank you, Angela. Oh wow, that's a huge tip too. But that's yeah. Yeah, you guys over on YouTube over here saying I love the radio show, you know, you could put a sentence in there about "but I miss your face," see. But never mind, Angela's got you covered. See, she's got you covered. So yeah, airship to the moon. Red Stin, I will make weird noises like that. So yeah, that could happen too. In fact, it does that. I cannot be on the radio and have cheese. Not those two things cannot go together. I want you to know. Sacrifices are happening here, right? Sacrifices are happening here. Happy to do that, though. Happy to do that. So yeah, we could have different nights with different music styles, things like that, and come in and out of talk and stuff like that. So, my rising sign. Gosh, Autumn, I just had like a brain fart, but rising sign. My solar sign, right? My sun is Taurus, and then I think there's like a Virgo moon, and a few other things like that. Do you listen to me via Spotify, Nate? Am I even on there? That's another thing. I would actually have to be putting a little bit of calories into the radio thing more to make sure I'm on there. I think I actually have to pay some money to get on some kind of network, but it may not be Spotify. I'm not sure. I'm always confused about that. But this would make me do it more if I was just doing radio stuff. So yesterday you said something about 10 years ago, 2012. Tell us what you then thought. In 2012, I was probably more personally in my bud, in my shell. Although people were calling me insightful about interpersonal experiences, no one really I grew up in Asheville, and the climate there was very victim-y. I'm not trying to say that that's the entire city of Asheville, but even if you're in Asheville, you have to see that. And I think it's the Vanderbilt magic, the Biltmore magic, the obelisk that they've just torn down, the reflecting pool. So it could be that the whole thing's going to change, but it became the only way that you had tribe was by being the poorest and the least able to care for yourself. I'm really not kidding about that. And it opens up a lot of magic. I get why people do it, because you end up opening a lot of magic as you're trading. Shakedown Street is a beautiful prawn economy. It's where I first learned about prawn economy. I think probably was on Shakedown Street. But in 2012, I felt like I was a deviant because I really felt comfortable paying my rent. Like if it was the first of the month and I could pay my rent, I felt comfort from that. I felt good about that. And I had roommates that didn't and thought that I was the uptight one for kind of like wanting us to pay rent and like stuff like that. And so I think that probably painted me as an uptight person. And that's actually what kind of led me to open up, because I've never, ever been labeled that uptight person. I definitely get intense and I get triggered and stuff like that. But what I mean is that my overall like daily vibe is kind of more sloppy. Not really. I do like my moments, and I do like when I'm awake and in flow state, I want things around me to be beautiful. But when I say beautiful, I frame coffee stains sometimes, right? Like I'll clean the table, and if there's a really beautiful coffee stain, I clean everything around it. And now I have this coffee stain that looks like the Mother Mary, like on a skateboard with like a Molotov cocktail, and she's lighting a cigarette. Like I see that in the coffee stain, and I don't clean that off the counter. But I can't just leave it there. So what I have to do is I have to clear a circle around it and then clean everything else off of it. And then it accents the coffee stain, right? So I'm not actually clean. I'm just artistic. And artistically, I like things to kind of have a flow. I don't always have that. But when I'm on top of my game, that's what's happening, right? So in 2012, I had a studio. I was trying to make it as an artist in Nashville. I guess I shouldn't say try. I had 3 different studios, not all at the same time. But what I mean is, it was really hard to keep them because of how expensive they were. But like I had this garage thing that you could like drive in. Used to be a service station, but it was all like painted white, so it was like really clean. It was like really just a fresh studio, and I had that place for a while. And I was making a lot of like really giant uh, light art, like fluorescent tube art, but like rewired and placed in sequence and stuff, and like tetrahedron, like those really long 10-foot ballasts. You can wire those together into like a spinning tetrahedron, but then if you wire it up right, it lights, and then if you color coat those bulbs, like spray paint them, wow, it looks amazing when you start to spin it in a dark room, especially when the dark room's all white. But no one's like, I'm looking to buy a 40-foot diameter fluorescent light that can spin in my atrium. No one wants that. So the art was never a financial boom, but it certainly brought a lot of witness and attention to it, and a lot of collaboration mostly. It was just learning to collaborate with other artists on bigger scales and stuff like that. So I was very self-involved. My experience in the Navy made me alone in Asheville because I was one of the few that really understood the gross bureaucracy of the military itself. Spiritually, I was one of the few that thought atheism wasn't actually possible. Like, it was like retarded. But again, I majored in religion in college. That doesn't mean that if you major in religion, you know religion, but in college, I was there studying. It was like the classes I took, I was like, all right, let's take this class. Let's do this, you know. And so I had already put in the calories to do stuff like that. So, were you aware of the Mayan Aztec calendar then? I still don't think that I'm fully aware of that calendar painting videos. I mean, what I mean is that I've certainly looked into even the Toltecs, I think, but like I'm showing you right now how much I know, but the 3 different wheels. I never thought that 2012 was going to be the end of the world. I knew enough about it to understand that this was just the passing into the next yuga, I think. But I think that most of my exposure to Amu-Rakan history, I feel very ignorant about. And although I think compared to others, I probably know more, but that just makes me sad. That doesn't make me happy. I don't think any of us are studying that because of the propaganda of what we were, first fed gave us an appetite where no one looks into this kind of stuff. I've been fixing that though. Ever since I started with the New Moon Fires, I've been learning a lot, or as much as I can, I should say, about our local history more, right? The Mississippian mounds. Those mounds looked a lot like pyramids because they were actually packed with clay. And different years they would pack different layers of clay that did different things. And I think that intrinsically, electrically, there's probably something happening there. that it very well could have been that even the structure of that itself could have caused some kind of glow. Um, I'm not even trying to say that what we're calling the Mississippians were using electricity, but I'm trying to say that it would be very possible that during a reset you would find a plastic castle and say, "Oh, made in China, the god made in China." This was and you would start to just utilize that. But a long time ago, that same shape was actually an electrical, grid or a hydraulic dam or a uh, collector of electrostatic from the soil, and the different layers of clay were acting as an insulator, right? Much like a capacitor, an earth capacitor is what I'm saying, an earth capacitor. So let's see if there's any other. I saw suspicious observers listed in your channels. What's your take on catastrophism? I'm not sure what that means, Eve. Catastrophism. I actually don't. Suspicious observers doesn't ring a bell right now, but it could be that I just don't. Sometimes when I watch a channel, I don't actually know the name of the channel. It's just because of how I watch. So I'm not trying to discount them, but I would just need to know more about that. Do you still snowboard? I live right across the street from a ski resort, and every year I have a pass, like a season pass, and I never go on the weekends because that's when it's crazy. I go during the week. The last 2 years, because I've been building a new career as a live streamer, I have not bought that pass. It's just been out of my budget. Do I miss that? Yes. But I also have been slowly getting better at doing this for a living. And I bet you that next year I will have that pass again. So sometimes I'm allowed to go because someone will be working or someone will let me in, or I just know when to go. You can you can actually drive up to the town hall. You can drive up to the town hall and actually ride down half the mountain. And because you've ridden down half the mountain, even though you don't have your pass, most of the time you can get on the quad and they will let you back up because you tell them, well, it was morning and I came down for breakfast. And because they see you skiing down, you can usually do that once. Uh, um, so no, I don't have a pass right now, but I used to, and I will again. That's actually why I moved here. I moved here because of the winter. The snowboarding is amazing. It's not like a huge hill, of course. It's the south, so but it's probably the longest. I don't know if it's the longest. I think snowshoe's probably longer. It's a higher elevation here. That there's like 6 ski resorts right here where I live. James, how do you deal with the desire to have a pristine well? The desire to always have something great to bring to the table. What do you do when you have nothing profound? I all of my profound, pristine well comes from the power of you guys watching me. I'm really not kidding. I prepare things that I think are interesting, and it used to be that I had to make sure that I thought something was interesting before I live stream. But what I've noticed instead is that if I hold my field a certain way, my posture a certain way, if I don't commit wrongs, if I'm not lying to myself over and over again about stuff, uh, I think that's your pristine well. And you have that too, Sart. Most of us do, I think, if not all of us. I see this all the time in dojo, and it's why I pull it. It's why I'm so particular about the chat, and when I say particular, I mean I run people out sometimes because I want the pristine well, and I don't have to read your words to feel the pristine well, right? The fact that you are watching me, the witness itself, is giving me that pristine well. So I'm under the impression that the pristine well, sure, some of it comes from me because I started doing this when no one was watching. But that the true power of that comes from the exposure to witness. Knowing that I'm live online makes me push things, makes me find things. And I'm always trying to find something that will dilate you the most. And because you're used to watching me, you're always looking for something to dilate you the most. And so both of us, I feel like, mine it together. We mine it together out of the same oil, right? Oh, my good man. That's prana economy just in time. That's right. Prana economy is a beautiful thing. Hey, James, my name's James as well. Remember me, we're in the same tent. One time you said as much when I said mandate merely in Black's Law is a two-party agreement. That sounds familiar, yeah. Have I ever been to the Serpent Mound in Southeast Ohio, James? Yes. No. I mean, sorry. No, I know that mound very well. I've read a couple books about it and studied it. I grew up in a mound. There's an even bigger. I don't mean this like my mound's bigger than your mound. That's not how I mean that at all. But there is a Serpent Mound in Chattanooga, and I did a lot of work on preserving that mound. It's now a insane asylum, which is pretty freaking cool, I think, honestly. I think it's actually really cool that it's an insane asylum there. So these mounds there's a lot of them, especially in the South. There's a lot of them. We are thinking about throwing a festival and going to see one of these mounds. Maybe Cahokia, maybe one down here, maybe Calhoun. Here in Georgia, the capital of Southern Appalachia, before the history that we know, the capital is really on the intersection of all the states. Most of these states were kind of like purposely made to break up settlements into different chunks. And so pretty much if you want to know the natural ley lines of where the old Amuraka was, look at where your states intersect. It's the intersection of those states that's used to obliterate the old. It's putting an X, aren't you? When you put an X on something, you're signing your name to it. So when states converge, that's a way of resetting. That's how you defrag a hard drive. It works the same way. Yes, I'm talking about Orange Grove, although Orange Grove is not... If Orange Grove moved there, they could have. When I was there, Orange Grove was not... Yeah, it was. Yeah. Orange Grove used to be in Cleveland, Tennessee, but then they moved... Yeah, I think they moved to Moccasin Bend there. Moccasin Bend, that place, is where mountain comes to point. And that mountain is Lookout Mountain. Well, you already know that, sorry. But other people may not. That's what Chattanooga means, where a mountain comes to a point. And Lookout Mountain is a deep, deep historical mountain. Holy shit. That mountain has got some serious magic on it. That's where Ruby Falls is, and the caves in there. Imagine what those caves were like before it was a tourism destination. People climbing to the tallest mountain in the world. I mean, in the south, as far as you can see, it like just cuts the valley right in two. Lookout Mountain does. And to climb that mountain, to overlook where a mountain comes to the point, to receive all the energy of the Tennessee River as it wraps around Moccasin Bend, and then to go into those deep, deep caves and find the waterfalls inside, it's just stunning. Stunning, right? Painting veils. Yeah, I that reptilian thing is really awesome. Painting videos. I just want you to know that really resonated with me. That's why we've been doing episodes on it. The fact that I got a Wikipedia coupon for that really, really blows me away. Yeah, Rock City, Ruby Falls. That's also a flat Earth proof. Did you guys know there's a flat Earth proof right on the top of Rock City? C7 states. It's hilarious. C7 states, do the math. It's impossible on a ball Earth. It's impossible. Pluto is going X across the U.S. on 2/22/2022 for the first time since 1776. It is the immutable cross, Pluto representative of death and rebirth. Wow, question reality. Do you know what's amazing about that is that okay, not amazing about that. That's amazing all by itself. But 2/20 2022 is a numerical palindrome. Just want to point that out. That's in 4 days. In 4 days, it'll be the same date forwards and backwards. So you can look at that as an equatorial cross, right? You could look at that as an equatorial cross, which is great. Hey, all you guys that are watching on Dojo Earth, there's 92 of you now. You should hit subscribe right now. You'll forget. Just do that. We do other shows here on Dojo Earth. Esoteric Journey on Thursday. Maybe some other things starting. We do a high magic show, too. Yeah. I think looking back at, it's really hard. No one is ever going to admit that we found this building here before we got here. No one's ever going to be able to admit that. And people are looking for stories to say why. I think that's why one of the many reasons why the talented John Levi is so popular is because he's providing an answer, right? It doesn't have to be right, but filling that gap is just feels good. I'd be doing better if I was filling more gaps like that, but I'm always like, but it could be this, it could be that. It's a fun way to do it though. It's fun. It's satisfying is a better word for it. It's very satisfying. Let's see if there's any more. I'll probably sign off just because we'll start the radio up earlier, but it looks like you guys are dwindling in focus, and that's okay. I don't want to drag it out. What do you know about Bicentennial Mall in Nashville? Ooh, I don't. I need to look that up, Angela. What do you know about Bicentennial Mall? It's profound, though, that they've rebuilt the Parthenon there. They're doing weddings there. That's pretty cool. All right. So, yeah, you guys, there's some recommendations. Crow's got a latest episode on the World's Fair. You can listen to that. John Levi's got some videos explaining some cool stuff. You can check that out, too. Rising Appalachia has good music. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah, Medicine's a really great song. I like them a lot. I've done festivals with them where I've built dragons and whatnot, where they've been playing. Do you like reading books? Good news. Yes. Oh, thank you, Sark. Yeah, I do. I thought he was asking me, do I like reading books? I love reading books, and you guys can read my books. There's a link there. You can check it out. I'm happy to, yeah, Dark Moon, thank you, but not filling the gap, James. You provide something equally important, thoughts that spark inner insight. Yeah, I'm happy to do what I do. And, I'm happy to not even be one of the ones that gets more traffic. I just wish that I could just make my craft and not get shut off 5 times in a row. It's kind of frustrating to see that. Robert Zephyr gets so much traffic, and he does great stuff, and they're never going to strike him. They're never going to strike John Levi. It's never going to happen. It makes doing what I do, that's what I mean by it's doing it harder, and that's the only way it would work is with patrons. It's the only way. So, yeah, we're definitely doing a full moon show tonight, Charlotta. We also have a dojo tonight, and you guys should come to the dojo. Will you be doing interviews? I'm always open to interviews. Yeah, my last one was with Conrad. Conrad runs a podcast, and did a great talk with him. But yeah, and also these Saturday nights are a round table, so there's usually a lot of us around doing stuff like that. It's all integrity, Zerlith. John Levy has integrity. So does Robert Zephyr. It's a Hertz. You can. It's easier to render this world where vaccines are legit. It's easier to render this world where every photograph that you find, even if it's photoshopped, is real, and you can paint a story about it. That's not a lack of integrity. That's a aperture dial. And the person with the most comfortable aperture is going to win in the end. And having this aperture that we share which is why you watch me, is a little bit more expensive. It is. But it does make you stainless. It does. Eon Byte, yeah, it's a great channel. Yeah, we're supposed to do another episode. I need to get this book out. Yeah, Grammarica, that was an amazing interview. I can't believe how lit I was then. I was just so intense when I was talking about them. I really ripped Polly a new one on that show. And it's the same kind of thing. I used to be mad. I would be mad at these other creators before Zarelith. I would be mad because I'd be like, I'm the only one that has the integrity. They're just take us. I'm not saying you're saying that, but I'm just saying that that I used to get mad about that. It's like, and they're getting all the traffic because they're never saying anything controversial. They're just telling everybody what they want to hear. And it took me a long time to realize, so the fuck what? People aren't watching you specifically for that. They're not. The quest is dilation. I have to slip this stuff in. I'm like my mom, who used to tell me that the zucchini was sausage that was chopped up very small in the spaghetti. That's what I do. It's in your face. Yeah, I've never been asked on higher side chats. Yes, you sure did. And honestly, I don't know that much about higher side chats. I mean, I definitely know the name for sure. It's a much bigger podcast than me. But I just, this is going to sound so whack, but when I first started doing this, I thought it was important that I watch everyone else too. And I quit doing that very quick because I thought it was actually ruining my berries for you. I think that it's important that we kind of remain kind of clean. It would be as if you were to go to a concert. If you really, really liked Axl Rose and you were a guitar player, you would have no choice but to subconsciously start to pick up some of his licks. And to me, because I look at this like a truth thing, like what I mean is that like you were here to discern truth. I want to make sure that my berries are just or organically just from the soil around me, because that's the only source that I really have that I think could ever be valuable to you, is one that's organically from me, not a conglomeration. We call this single source coffee, right? Fair trade single source. That people started noticing that when you just take all the beans that are on the floor that are from different trees and you throw them into one bag of coffee, that coffee tastes like shit. And then you name it like Christmas blend, or you give it a name that sounds like something different, when really it's just blended coffee that doesn't have the original essence of it. It's been mixed, it's been spliced together, right? So I feel like it's kind of important to try and kind of stay off that. I've been on Crow 3 times. Really enjoy being on Crow. Yeah, love being on with Rose. I think Rose 777 is awesome. I've been on Secrets of Saturn. It's really great there. Great guys there too. I don't host a lot of. I couldn't host Balderson because of the whole. It's so weird how he acted that way about the land. But this is what I mean about prawn economy. If you can't say you're wrong, you're just gonna say something out loud. And then with the Owen thing, it's I don't want to build a show around me always having guests. And I have a lot to say. What can I say? I have a lot to say. I like the Saturday night shows though. I really like those a lot. And I feel like sometimes when I'm on another show, I feel like I talk too much. And I don't always know if that's true. Like, I don't always, I think it's possible sometimes I think that I talk too much because I'm just stepping on someone's toes because this isn't my show. Sometimes I talk too much because I'm just talking too much. But I'm just telling you that sometimes I feel like I'm talking too much and it's not because I'm talking too much. And that's kind of tricky on the shows. Plus, when we're doing the shows, it doesn't always, like, they tend to be a little bit more stressful because you don't know, is someone going to show up? Are they going to be on point? Stuff like that. So it's harder for me because it's a performance. I take my show seriously. It may not look like that all the time, but I do, and it makes me uh, kind of intolerable if you just wanted to like hang out in the theater during a dress rehearsal and just kind of have a good time. It would make me very not fun to be around because I'm like that director character that I'm in the audience and I'm yelling at the people on the stage that are on the show with me. Like, hey, do this better, stop, go back to your mark, do it again. I was raised in that kind of thing, and when we do shows like this on YouTube, uh, people show up to the show and they don't understand that, and then they have a right to say, "Well, you're just being rude, James. You need to take it easy." It's the same thing in Nashville. Like, man, why do you want to pay your rent? Jeez, dude, why you gotta get so uptight? You don't owe the landlord nothing. He's a jerk, man. Rent doesn't count. No one should pay rent. And all those are great excuses, right? They sound great, but it doesn't make you feel better. You know? I really consider my time precious on this planet. I consider your time precious too, on planet, whatever it is, on this plane. And I want to do really good, high quality work with what I have. Every day's an opportunity. Today's a full moon to make that happen, you know? And hopefully I'll bring that on the show tonight. I should probably go. But hopefully I'll bring that on the show tonight. That's my goal. I love being on point. I love when you guys show up because I'm just like, can I make something cool? Can I? I've had a few talks with Martin. I think Martin's great. On Friday night there's a great show, Iron Realms Media. That's a good show. A lot of good conversations on there. You know, I'll tell you a secret. If those guys would invite me every Friday, I'd be there every Friday. I love talking to those guys. I also, though, kind of wish that it was a little bit more refined and polished. I'm trying to get on this this Saturday night high magic show we're doing. I want to get that really polished, and I'm just trying not to be a jerk about it. Like when I invite people on, or if I, whatever, I'm just trying to learn how to like do good work and not be a jerk about it. And I really like that show though. I love what's coming out of there. I feel like sarcastic, our own sarcastic, is a gold mine, and I think he should be talking more. The dude's read a lot. You guys should be listening to what he has to say. All right, we got people leaving in chat. They're like, okay, I gotta go. That's fine. All right, you go. I'll go too. We'll all go together. How about that? And I don't want to drag this out. Sorry. Thank you for being here. I'll play us out, and I'll start the radio later. And I'm gonna cook some breakfast because I slept in this morning because I was on last night in the show. So yeah, I've got 33 watching on Rockfin. How cool is that? 33. Love that number. 33. All right, guys. You did subscribe, I take it, right? And we'll see you later. I'll be starting this pretty soon. Great to see you, everyone. And yeah, happy full moon. Let's have a good full moon. I'm gonna send this out. Maybe this is the child endangerment. Is this child endangerment?